Good morning, brothers and sisters. Today is Wednesday, September the 21st. We're going to start off with the sound saying coming from 2 Timothy 1:7. And it says, "For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind." For God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. That is very important, to have a sound mind. Because if you don't have a sound mind, it's almost like not having a brain that is operating. You can't live without your brain. If your brain dead, the rest of you is no good. So if your mind is messed up, the rest of you is no good, to be honest with you. So a sound mind is very important. And not having or staying in a spirit of fear is also extremely important. All right? So, for God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. The back is coming from Micah 7:7, and it says, "I will look unto the Lord. I will wait for the God of my salvation. My God will hear me. I will look unto the Lord. I will wait for the God of my salvation. My God will hear me." All right? As he is the one who made the ear, he has a set of ears himself. All right, we're going to be reading from 2 Samuel 11, because we're talking about honesty and integrity today. All right, what is honesty? Honesty means you're free of deceit and untruthfulness. You're sincere. You're candid. You're frank. You're blunt. You're matter of fact. You're outspoken. All of these things signify or speaks of your honesty or your integrity. And integrity and honesty hold hands. The quality of being honest and having strong moral principles, moral values, moral uprightness, the way the Bible speaks of it. So honesty is free of being deceit and untruthful, and the quality of being honest. Examples of honesty: admitting when you are wrong about something speaks a lot about your honesty, your integrity. Choosing not to cheat, or choosing to do things according to the way it should be done. Being honest when you are competing for a sport, you feel better about it if you did not cheat to win. If you take a test and you get a high grade, you feel better about it if you did not use a cheat sheet to gain a good grade. So your honesty speaks values about your integrity. All right? And people only respect you for being honest. People are not going to respect you for being deceitful. Honesty gains respect. Deception gains mistrust. So it is always worth to keep your integrity intact. Right? Saying what you, when you've had a fair share of something. Sometimes people are so soft-natured or shy that they will allow you to say things to them that is insulting, but out of politeness they may not say anything to you because they don't want to hurt your feeling. Well, that doesn't say anything about your integrity. All right, you can't let people say all kinds of things to you and you not respond to them appropriately. Okay, you should never be too shy to speak up for yourself, or never be too shy to speak that which is true, which is today is not very important. Truth is not important today. It's not accepted. It's not valued today. Moral principles are Had an all-time low today. So people don't necessarily like you being honest to them. All right? So admitting when you are wrong, choosing not to cheat, saying when you've had your fair share, speaking up when something upsets you, saying an unpopular truth. Like I said, the truth is not accepted today. People don't want to hear the truth today. People rather you lie to them. And some people will lie to you to keep from hurting your feelings, but that says nothing about your integrity. So if you have good moral integrity, you're going to be a very honest person when you speak. Even if that which you say may be difficult to say, because it may have a bite to it. The truth always has a little bite to it. Deception has no bite to it at all. And another thing, brothers and sisters, it takes no strength to tell a lie. It takes no strength at all, no moral principles at all to be deceitful. But it takes a lot to be honest. It takes a lot of courage to be honest. So an honest person is also a courageous person, indeed. All right? So showing disappointment and emotions, it's good for you to be able to be honest about your feelings with anyone, with a loved one, with a friend, with a co-worker. Sometimes you have to be honest about what you see. If you see something that is done that is wrong, you have to speak up against that which is evil. Okay? An honest person cannot be told to do that which is evil, because your integrity is being tested now. Okay? You should always err on the right side of the law and on the right side of God. All right? Always err on the right side. All right? So show disappointment and emotions. We all, even Jesus himself, showed disappointment and emotions. He cried. He became sad. He laughed. He asked questions. All right? He showed us every part of humankind. Every emotion we can experience, Jesus demonstrated it. All right? Returning something that belongs to another. An honest person will do that. It's embarrassing, to be honest, sometimes. It may make you look bad initially, even if you're doing something that's good. It will make you look bad because of the action that you took. You took something, okay? An honest person will return it. And for some time, it may tend to your integrity, but everything falls back in place. All right? Because a lot of people steal things and never return it. So it's a good thing to return something that you have taken from someone else. Now, some things are hard to return. You took somebody's husband. Well, sometimes the person don't want him back. Some things are very difficult to return. But an item is easy to return. Okay, so sharing constructive feedback. What makes it constructive? It's an honest response. Okay, be careful who you share with, because not everyone you share with will give you an honest response. Some people are afraid to hurt your feelings. Others are afraid to be dishonest with you. So which one is better? Is it better to be afraid to hurt someone's feeling, or is it better to be afraid to be dishonest with them? It's better to be afraid to be dishonest with them. And you can always start off on the wrong foot. You can start off being deceptive or giving a deceptive answer. You can always change your mind. You can always say, I changed my mind. This is how it truly is. That gains you respect. The person may not like what you're saying, but they will surely respect you for it. Okay? And when you're dishonest, brothers and sisters, it always comes back to haunt you. If you tell a small lie, you're going to end up having to tell another lie to cover up the first lie. And the second lie is going to be bigger than the first one. Then if you have to lie again, that third lie is going to be bigger than the first and the second lie. So it really isn't worth being deceptive in nature, because it comes back to you. But if you're honest, nothing can return back to you but respect. Okay? Yes, you might hurt a few feelings. Yes, that which you said might be difficult to say. But it is better than expecting evil for your evil. Because it is evil to be deceptive. Alright? It is good and righteous to be honest. Alright? Honest people are willing to say that they were wrong about something. But it isn't just an issue of honesty. It's an issue of having the strength to change and grow as a person. Alright? So you're actually growing as a person when you're honest. And you're helping the person who you're speaking to, who you're giving constructive feedback to. You're helping them to grow as well. You're not helping anybody to grow by lying to them. You're not helping them by deceiving them. Alright? That's called trickery. Hypocritical. Alright? Too often people will realize that they are wrong, but they're too stubborn to admit it. Yeah, sometimes our stubbornness can get in the way of our integrity. Alright? So it's always beneficial to you and the person that you're counseling to be as painfully honest as possible. It may make you look mean. That's okay. It's better to look mean than to be deceptive. Alright? And if you're a stubborn person, the kind of person who can't admit when you're wrong, you will defend the indefendable just so you won't look bad in the presence of others. That serves no one, not even yourself. Alright? So don't worry about how you look. At all. An honest person will say, you know what, I've changed my mind. This may be a little embarrassing at times to go from deception to honesty. But it is worth the turnaround, I call it. Turn it around. Alright? But in the long run, people will respect you and trust that you will tell the truth no matter what. Oftentimes, a person who is looking for true counseling will go to a person that is honest instead of going to the person who is deceptive, who speaks not the truth. Okay, who gives you what you want to hear. You don't want to talk to that person. You want to talk to the person that will give you some constructive feedback. All right. That's why we're reading about David in 1 Samuel. All right. Let's go there. All right, so David and Bathsheba. Every man has faults. You and I are not excellent beings. There's no such thing as an excellent human. A faultless individual. There's no such thing. It doesn't exist. Okay? So we all make mistakes in life. That's what makes us human. It is human to err. Alright? Even Jesus himself said he was not perfect. Only God is perfect. In all the things that we don't understand happening in our world, God knows all about it. He set it up. It's not meant for man to understand all the things God does. It's only meant for us to accept it. Right? So, let's talk about King David and Bathsheba. In the spring, at the time when kings go off to war, normally the king would join his troops in a war. This particular day, King David, for whatever reason, did not go with his troops. He stayed home instead. Let's see what happens. In the spring, at the time when kings go off to war, David sent Joab out with the king's men and the whole Israelite army. They destroyed the Ammonites and besieged Rabbah, but David remained in Jerusalem. One evening, David got up from his bed and walked around on the roof of the palace. From the roof, he saw a woman bathing. The woman was very beautiful, and David sent someone to find out about her. The man said, "Isn't this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, and the wife of Uriah the Hittite?" Then David sent messengers to get her. She came to him, and he slept with her. She had purified herself from her uncleanness. Okay, so her ministration had just finished, and she was bathing outside to purify herself. Then she went back home. The woman conceived and sent word to David saying, "I am pregnant." Now, it couldn't be her husband because he hadn't been home in a while. When he left her, she wasn't pregnant. So David sent his word to Joab, "Send me Uriah the Hittite." Okay, here's the deception. He touched something that wasn't his. He knew who the woman belonged to. She was the wife of one of his soldiers. He touches her. He impregnates her. Just like I said, when you tell a little lie, next thing you know, you have to tell another lie to cover up the first little lie. And then the next lie gets bigger. And every lie after that gets bigger and bigger. And next thing you know, you started with a little pebble lie. And then next thing you know, you have a big boulder in your presence. Because the lies have mounted up now. So let's watch King David as he covers up his deception. As he damages his integrity. He could have had any woman, but he chose to cheat. He chose to touch that which was sacred. A wife is sacred, and so is a husband. All of you who have boyfriends and girlfriends, there's nothing sacred in that at all. And that's the truth. The woman conceived and sent word to David, saying, "I am pregnant." So David sent this word to Joab, "Send me Uriah the Hittite," and Joab sent him to David. When Uriah came to him, David asked him how Joab was, how the soldiers were, and how the war was going. He could care less about it. He had other ulterior motives for having him in his presence. Here it comes. Then David said to Uriah, "Go down to your house and wash your feet." So Uriah left the palace, and a gift from the king was sent after him. So the king sent food, this, that, the other, to be at the house of Uriah. By the time he get there, Uriah never saw it. But Uriah slept at the entrance to the palace, and all his master's servants, and did not go down to his house. So his plan was not working. Okay, so when you are being deceptive, and that which you are being deceptive with does not work, you begin to bring on more deception. And it only gets worse from this point on. Then David was told Uriah did not go home. He asked, "Haven't you just come from a distance? Why didn't you go home?" Uriah said to David, his king, "The ark and Israel and Judah are staying in tents, and my master Joab and my Lord's men are camped in the open field. How could I go to my house to eat and drink and lie with my wife? As surely as you live, I will not do such a thing. That's a devoted soldier. A righteous man indeed. Then David said to him, stay here one more day, and tomorrow I will send you back. So Uriah remained in Jerusalem that day and the next, and never went to his house now. His wife probably didn't even know he was in town. At David's invitation, he ate and drank with him, and David made him drunk. His last attempt to get the man to go home. But in the evening, Uriah went out to sleep on his mat among his master's servants. He did not go home. In the morning, David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it with Uriah. In it, he wrote, put Uriah in the front line where the fighting is fiercest. Then withdraw from him so that he will be struck down and die. Uriah was a righteous, honest man. He did not look at the note to read it. He gave it to his commanding officer, Joab. And it was pertaining to him. Had he read that letter, he would have seen how deceptive his king was. How wicked and evil he can be. And let me tell you something. We all can be wicked and evil like that. We all have the capabilities of it. You should never put yourself in a situation where you have to do that which is wicked. So while Joab had the city under siege, he put Uriah at a place where he knew the strongest defenders were. When the men of the city came out and fought against Joab, some of the men in David's army fell. Moreover, Uriah the Hittite died. Joab sent David a full account of the battle. He instructed the messenger, when you have finished giving the king this account of the battle, the king's anger may flare up, and he may ask you, why did you get so close to the city to fight? Didn't you know they would shoot arrows from the wall? Who killed Abimelech, son of Jerubbaal? Didn't a woman throw an upper milestone on him from the wall so that he died in Tisbit? Why did you get so close to the wall? If he asks you this, then say to him also, your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead. So Joab was just as deceptive as his king. Because he knew the king could care less about what was going on with the battle. He knew the king only wanted to know what was going on with Uriah. Whatever trouble we may be in, just tell him Uriah is dead. And your troubles are over. The messenger sent out, and when he arrived, he told David everything Joab had sent him to say. The messenger said to David, the men overpowered us and came out against us in the open, but we drove them back to the entrance to the city gates. Then their archers shot arrows at your servants from the wall, and some of the king's men died. Moreover, your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead. David told the messenger, say this to Joab, don't let this upset you. The sword devours one as well as another. Press the attack against the city and destroy it. Say this to encourage Joab. When Uriah's wife heard that her husband was dead, she mourned for him. After the time of mourning was over, David had her brought to his house, and she became his wife and bore him a son. But the thing David had done displeased the Lord. Okay. So just because we do things does not mean that God would not hold us for that which we have done. That is true even today, brothers and sisters. Even today, whatever you do in the dark, God will hold you to it. He will punish you for that which you have done. And the punishment will be severe. Nathan was sent to correct the king for what he had done. And that wasn't the only punishment. Absalom gave him hell after that and killed his son, Amnon. So it really wasn't worth the trouble that he had caused upon himself. The bigger the lie, the more trouble comes your way. So what is the best thing to do? Keep your integrity intact, no matter what. If it brings thee trouble, it is better that you are in trouble for being honest than in trouble for being deceptive. Because if you're in trouble for being honest, you'll probably only get trouble from man. God will be pleased with you. But if God is not pleased with thee, the trouble you have with man will be 100-fold. Just read David and Absalom. Thank you for joining us here at Spiritual Water. My name is Brenda Guerrero, and as always, may the peace of God be upon you, the protection of God surround you, and may the will of God for your life be manifested. Thank you for listening. I love you, and have a beautiful day.